Good morning and welcome to another Daily Devotions with Pastor Joe. I'm Pastor Joe, and for this morning we're reading back in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verses 5 through 10, where it says, "Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thine own eyes, fear the Lord, and depart from evil. It shall be health to thy navel, and marrow to thy bones. Honor the Lord with thy substance, and with the firstfruits of all thine increase. So shall thy barns be filled with plenty, and thy presses shall burst out with new wine." And it's a beautiful passage here, which is very often quoted, at least the first couple of verses. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, lean not unto thine own understanding, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. We quote that all the time to the children. We train our children to say this. We train them to have it memorized and to know that the Bible says to do this. But so often it seems that we aren't doing this. We're not trusting God with everything. We're not trusting him to direct our paths. We're not acknowledging him first. Instead, we're trusting in our own understanding, as the people during the days of the judges would have been said that they were doing all of what was right in their own eyes, what they had deemed to be all right, not what God said was right or wrong. But the Bible says here clearly, "Be not wise in thine own eyes, fear the Lord, and depart from evil." Don't do the things that are right in your own eyes and to your own understanding, those things that are against God or aren't what God would have for you to do. But instead do what God would do, have respect for him. It will be health to your navel and marrow to your bones. It's going to make you strong and healthy. It's going to lead you to the best life you can possibly live, both now and for eternity, because the life of a Christian is more satisfying and fulfilling than the life of a sinner any day. Although the sinner may have a joy and happiness and contentment for a short season, it doesn't last, and it's always with a small void that seems to never be filled. And I think verses 9 and 10, although somewhat separate from the idea of the first four, they sort of tie everything together a bit. It says, "Honor the Lord with thy substance, and with the first fruits of all thine increase." This is talking first about tithing, because as he says, by giving God the first fruits, by trusting him first with your money, he's going to supply all of your needs and much, much more till you have enough and plenty enough, maybe even far more than enough for all of your needs. But it's not only that, but if you were to take this same idea and recall it back, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, lean not unto thine own understanding. It's sort of like the story of a couple of ladies in the church who were talking, a couple of senior citizen ladies who were sitting in the church talking, and the one said, "Yeah, I went to my doctor, and they said they were all out of the flu vaccine, and I went to the Walgreens and when they were supposed to be giving the flu vaccine, and they had all just run out of the flu vaccine, and I went all over to this clinic and to that clinic, and not a one of them had the flu vaccine in stock, and I just guess I'm going to have to trust in the Lord." Well, instead of trusting in the Lord first, she went seeking after all these other things, right? And don't misunderstand me. It doesn't mean don't get vaccinations and medicine that you need, because God has allowed the human understanding to be developed in such a way that we've created some great medicines that are very useful, all right, very helpful to us. But your first trust should be in the Lord. Don't say, "Well, now I'm just going to have to trust in the Lord." No, say, "But I'm already trusting in the Lord. I know he's going to take care of me." Your trust should be in him first, not into those other things. Instead of leaning to those things of your own understanding first, trust in him first and let him direct your paths. Who knows if maybe during that time that lady was looking at her doctor's office, she should have went to the Walgreens and got a shot of the flu vaccine, and before she walked in, because she was so much later than she would have been, it ended up getting spilled. Who knows? But if she would have asked God, he would have led her to the Walgreens first, right? Well, that's the idea, that if you put your trust in the Lord first, and then let him direct your paths, you acknowledge him and say, "God, I know that you have a plan and a purpose for my life, and you have a reason for everything that happens, and I'm trusting you for this situation. What would you like me to do? What would you have me to do here?" Then he's going to direct your paths. He's going to give you the way that you ought to go. He's going to tell you exactly what you ought to do. He's going to lead you exactly where you ought to go. He's going to take care of you. He's going to make sure that you are led to the best place you could possibly be for yourself in that particular situation and for God's will in that situation. So, honor the Lord with thy substance, with the first fruits of your increase. Trust in him, and lean not unto your own understanding, but acknowledge him first, and let him direct your paths. Let him lead you. Let him guide you today. If you are struggling with decisions to make today, or if you're struggling with, maybe even you're not struggling with a decision, but you're making decisions today, how about you take the time to think very carefully first and say, Lord, what would you have me to do in this situation? I know what I would like to do, or I know what I would choose to do, but is this what you would choose for me to do? You might be surprised at some of the things God might have you change, and then again, you might be surprised at how much God has helped you to be wise enough to make the right decisions. You never know. I mean, just give it a shot. Give God the trust that he deserves. Acknowledge him first, and he will direct your paths. Thanks again for joining me for another Daily Devotions with Pastor Joe. Jump into the comments section below if you have any comments, thoughts, ideas, or testimonies that you'd like to share. Like the video if you like it, subscribe if you like it a lot, and share it with a friend if you have anybody who you think would enjoy this kind of content. Thanks again for joining me. I'll see you again tomorrow. God bless, and have a wonderful day in the Lord.